Welcome to the Morning English Podcast. Listen, learn, and speak English daily.
Hello, English learners, and welcome to our podcast. My name is Emma, and we are so happy that you are here with us today.
And I'm Mark. Yes, welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to have you here with us today.
So please, pull up a chair, grab some coffee or tea, and just relax with us.
Yeah, exactly. Just imagine you're a third friend sitting right here at the table with us.
Because this is a very relaxed place for you to learn real English with absolutely no pressure.
Right. No tests, no boring grammar drills, just real, everyday English, the kind of English people actually use in their daily lives.
Speaking of daily life, my morning was a little bit chaotic today.
Oh, really?
What happened?
Well, I had this huge team meeting at work, right? I had my coffee. I was totally prepared. I had this really good idea to share.
Okay, sounds like you were ready.
I thought I was, but then when it was finally time to speak, I totally froze. My mind went blank.
Oh no, the classic meeting freeze. I think every single person has been there. It is just the worst feeling. But, it actually connects perfectly to what we're doing a deep dive into today.
It really does, because today our deep dive is all about how to speak confidently at work, especially when you feel nervous or insecure about your English.
Exactly. We are going to learn real simple phrases to help you jump into a conversation, disagree politely, and, just sound super confident.
And before we get into all that great stuff, if you are enjoying our time together, please take a quick second to like, subscribe, and maybe share this with one friend who is also learning English.
Yes, please do. So let me ask you, the listener, a quick question. Have you ever had a brilliant idea at work, but you just stayed quiet because you couldn't find the right words?
That is a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
You sit there in silence, and then 2 minutes later, someone else says your exact idea and gets all the credit.
Right, and you're just sitting there burning with frustration thinking, I literally just had that thought.
Well, it happens because in that high-pressure moment, your brain kind of panics. It's a natural response. You don't need perfect grammar to fix this. You just need a few simple, organized phrases.
I love that. So let's start with the very first problem, entering the conversation. Because before anyone can hear your great idea, you have to actually, start speaking.
Yeah, you have to get the floor. That's a great little idiom for our listeners. To get the floor just means to get your turn to speak.
Oh, that's a good one.
What?
So when people want to get the floor, a lot of beginners just wait for a tiny bit of silence and blurt out, I want to say something.
Which is, it's not the best approach in a professional setting.
Why is that? I mean, it's technically true, right?
It is true, but it sounds a bit like a child in a classroom raising their hand just to get attention. It focuses on your desire to speak rather than the value you are bringing to the group.
Ah, I see. It's like driving in really heavy traffic. You don't just close your eyes and push your car into the next lane. That causes a crash.
Exactly. You use a turn signal.
Right. So what is a good conversational turn signal?
Instead of saying, I want to say something, you can say, I'd like to add something here. Or even better, I'd like to add one point.
Oh, I'd like to add one point. That sounds much smoother. It tells everyone to just naturally make a little space for you.
Yes, and it shows you are trying to help the team. But I want to ask you about that phrase. If you say, I'd like to add one point, does it make you sound, a bit small, like you only have one tiny thing to say?
That is such a good question. It might feel that way, but at work, everyone is busy, they're tired, nobody wants to listen to a long speech.
That is so true.
So when you promise to only share one point, people actually respect you more. It shows that you value their time. Being brief or keeping it short makes you look like an authority.
Okay, so keeping it short gives you power. I love that. So let's say you use your turn signal. You say, I'd like to add one point. The room goes quiet. Everyone is looking at you.
And that is exactly when the second panic hits.
Right. You have the floor, and suddenly you start talking way too fast, and you give way too many details.
Yes, the detail trap. When we get nervous, we think that if we just throw a million details at our coworkers, they will eventually understand what we mean.
But they don't. They just get confused.
Yeah.
It's like giving someone directions to a place, but you don't tell them where they are going.
Oh, like saying, turn left, go 3 miles, take a right past the gas station, but you never told them we are going to the grocery store.
Exactly. Without the destination, the directions mean absolutely nothing.
So how do we fix that when we speak English at work?
We use phrases that give the destination first. You can say, let me explain the main point clearly. Or just simply, in short.
In short. That is such a great, easy phrase for our listeners.
Yeah, it forces you to pause and ask yourself, what is the single most important thing I want them to understand? And then you say that first.
So if a project is delayed, you don't start by telling a long story about the computer crashing and the client being angry.
Right, you start with the destination. You say, in short, we cannot finish by Friday unless we get more time. Then you can give the backstory if they ask for it.
That makes things so much clearer. Okay, so we've talked about how to speak, but what if you are the one listening and you completely don't understand what someone is saying?
Ah, yes. The famous meeting face.
The famous meeting face, where you are nodding and smiling on the outside, but on the inside you are totally lost.
We all do it to save face, to avoid looking silly. But at work, faking it is actually really dangerous.
Because if you pretend to understand a really important project and then you do it wrong, it causes huge problems for the whole company.
Exactly. Asking a question isn't a weakness. It shows you care about getting the job done right. But you don't want to just interrupt and say, I don't understand.
Right, that sounds a little blunt. So what should we say instead?
A really polite way to ask is, could you clarify that point for me? Clarify just means to make something clear.
Could you clarify that point for me? That sounds very professional.
It is. And an even better tool is the confirmation question. You say, I want to make sure I understood correctly. And then you repeat back what you think they meant.
But wait, if I just repeat their exact words back to them, won't they get a bit annoyed? Like I'm just an echo.
Well, not if you use that exact phrase first. Saying, I want to make sure I understood correctly shows that you are being careful and responsible. People really appreciate that.
That makes total sense. You are protecting the work. And this is really helpful when people use those annoying corporate buzzwords.
Oh, buzzwords. Words that sound fancy but don't really mean anything.
Right. Like when a boss says, we need better communication synergies. I mean, what does that even mean?
It means nothing. So when someone uses a vague word like that, you just ask, could you give me an example?
Oh, I love that. Could you give me an example? It forces them to explain their fancy word using real, everyday English.
Exactly. It holds them accountable.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something a little bit harder. Navigating conflict.
Ooh, yes. Disagreeing with people. Because sometimes you do understand perfectly, but you realize their idea is just really bad.
Right. And your strong instinct is to just say, this is a bad idea or that won't work.
Which instantly makes the other person angry and defensive. So we need a better way.
We can use a simple three-step structure. Acknowledge, share, reason.
Okay, let's break that down for our learners. Acknowledge, share, reason.
First, you acknowledge their point. You validate them. You say, I see your point about the timeline.
Okay, that's polite. It shows I'm listening.
Then you share your view. You say, but from my perspective, we might need to change this.
Oh, from my perspective, that is a great phrase. It doesn't say you are wrong. It just says from where I am sitting, this is what I see. It's very gentle.
It is. And then the final step is the reason. Because the software isn't ready yet, so it's not personal. It's just about the facts.
Acknowledge, share, reason. That is so useful. And speaking of gentle words, we have to talk about one of my favorite little words in the English language.
Which one is that?
The word yet. Y-E-T.
Ah, yes. Yet is basically a magic word for disagreeing.
It really is. If someone pitches an idea and you just say, I'm not convinced, it sounds like you slammed a door in their face. The conversation is just over.
But if you say, I'm not fully convinced yet, it leaves the door open just a crack.
Right. It tells them, I don't agree right now, but I am open to changing my mind if you explain it better. It keeps things friendly.
It's so disarming. Now, what about when a boss gives you way too much work?
Oh, the scary workload drop. It's Friday afternoon, and your manager drops a massive project on your desk and wants it by Monday.
A lot of people just sigh, cancel their weekend plans, and suffer in silence. That's a passive response.
And some people get really angry and yell, I can't do this, I have too much work, which is aggressive and, well, it ruins the relationship.
Right. We want to be assertive. Yeah. Assertive means being clear and respectful. Yeah. You don't complain about your feelings. You talk about priorities.
Priorities. Deciding what is the most important thing to do first. So how do we say that?
You can ask your manager, I want to make sure I'm prioritizing the right things. Which task would you like me to do first?
Or you can use a conditional yes. I can take this on, but I'll need to adjust my other deadlines.
Yes, I can do this, but...
Let me push back on that a little just for our listeners who might feel scared to try it. If I tell my boss, I can do this, but won't they think I'm just being lazy?
I get why people fear that. But saying yes to impossible work isn't polite. If you say yes, but then you miss the deadline or do a terrible job because you were rushing, you haven't helped your boss at all.
Wow, that is a really good point.
Using assertive English actually protects the quality of the work. You are being a responsible team member.
That totally changes how I feel about pushing back. Okay, so we've handled bad ideas and bad workloads. What about giving feedback?
Oh, telling someone their work needs improvement. That is the final boss of communication.
It is. You don't want to just say, this is wrong.
Never just say that. You have to soften it. A really great phrase to use is, can I share one suggestion that might make this stronger?
Can I share one suggestion? I love that because it sounds like we are on the same team working together.
Exactly. And when you actually give the feedback, you use a sandwich method, something positive, one improvement, and a reason.
So you say, the colors on this presentation look great, but we should use less text so it's easier to read.
Perfect. Positive, improvement, reason. But we also have to talk about how you physically deliver that sentence.
Yes, the speed. When we are nervous giving feedback, we just want it to end, so we talk incredibly fast.
But talking fast doesn't hide your mistake or your nerves. It just makes the other person confused. You have to intentionally slow down.
It reminds me of throwing tennis balls.
Oh, explain that for the listeners.
Well, imagine I need to give you 10 pieces of feedback. It's like I have 10 tennis balls. If I get nervous and just throw all 10 balls at you at the exact same time, what happens?
I'm going to drop all of them. I can't catch 10 balls at once.
Exactly. But if I slow down and I hand you the balls one by one with a little pause in between, you can easily catch every single one.
That is a brilliant analogy. Our brains need those little pauses, those moments of silence to actually catch the ideas. So please, slow down and pause.
Let your ideas arrive. Okay, so before we wrap up, we want to give you 3 emergency formulas.
Yes, these are simple little templates you can memorize. When you feel stressed, you don't have to invent a new sentence. You just use the formula.
The first one is point, reason, action.
Right. You give your point, the reason for it, and then what action needs to happen.
So, for example, the deadline is too tight because we don't have the data yet. Could we send the report tomorrow instead?
Clean, logical, and no rambling. The second formula is for building on someone else's idea. Agree, add, suggest.
Agree, add, suggest. So I could say, I agree we need to hurry. I'd add that we need to check for errors. One option could be waiting until tomorrow.
Exactly. Starting with I agree makes them feel good, so they will listen to your suggestion. And the last formula is for when you are totally confused.
Clarify, confirm, continue.
So you say, could you clarify? I want to make sure I understood. If you want this on Friday, I will start on it Thursday.
These formulas are like magic. They give you muscle memory, so you don't even have to think when you're nervous.
And that really brings us to the biggest lesson today. You do not need perfect textbook grammar to be respected at work.
Not at all. A simple, organized message delivered slowly is always going to beat perfect grammar that is spoken way too fast out of nervousness.
You just need to be clear, calm, and useful.
Which brings us to a final thought I really want you, our listener, to think about today. We've talked about all these tools to help you speak up and be heard.
Right, tools to take up your rightful space in the room.
But don't stop there. Tomorrow, when you are in a meeting and you use one of these phrases to share your great idea, look around the room.
Yeah, look and see who else is sitting there, totally frozen, maybe struggling with their English too.
Exactly. Once you know how to open the door for yourself, you can start holding that door open for the quietest person in the room.
That is what true leadership looks like.
Take one of these phrases tomorrow. Make yourself seen. You have the tools. You know how to hand out the tennis balls. Get out there and speak up.
Let's do a quick recap. Today, we learned how to enter a conversation by saying, I'd like to add one point.
We learned to avoid the detail trap by starting with, in short, or giving the destination first.
And we learned some great vocabulary, like clarify, which means to make something easier to understand, and buzzword, which is a word that sounds important but means very little.
So here is your speaking challenge for today. Choose just one of the phrases we talked about. Maybe I want to make sure I understood correctly, or can I share one suggestion?
And practice saying it out loud to yourself in the mirror tonight. Get comfortable with how it feels in your mouth.
Try to use it in real life tomorrow. We know you can do it. Remember to practice your English a little bit every single day.
It was so wonderful spending this time with you. Keep practicing, keep speaking up, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for joining our deep dive today, everyone. Have a beautiful day, and we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.